Hello everybody and welcome to this tutorial how to build this bracket in Shapr3D effectively and with the least amount of steps using Shapr's sketching and direct modeling tools. Before you continue building something, always try to see the basic geometrical building blocks, because this can actually really inform the type of sketches and geometry you have to build. If we take a look at this, you can see here we have a horizontal slab or an extrusion. We also have a triangular shape that extrudes on top of it, left and right. And we have a vertical extrusion that has two flat sides, and it has also two rounded sides, plus then all the holes and the fillets. In addition, when we take a look at this, it's actually a very symmetrical object, which means we can build just 1/4 of this, and then via mirroring and joining and mirroring create the whole bracket. So we can kind of cut down our amount of work to 1/4. So let me show you how we do this. Go to a new file. Here we just have a screenshot of what I want to rebuild just for reference purpose. So make sure we have millimeters set and all our grid and snapping and guide options are turned on. So this object is symmetrical, which means from the center we can start building out 1/4. So that means from here I just draw a line and draw a line. First, this point I would like to lock so it can't move. This should be, in my case, 25 millimeters because it is half of a 50 millimeter diameter, and this should be 45 millimeters, which is half of the 90 millimeter length. Very good. These two lines I do not want to rotate or move in any way, so I can select them and set them to be horizontal vertical. I need to close the shape, so my pencil I can start drawing. You see there's now a magenta line and there's a dot. So when I go to this dot, it found actually the corresponding height of this length. This point can still move around, which is not what I want. So these two edges I will select and assign also here horizontal vertical constraint. So now all these corners are 90 degrees, which is good. It's a perfect rectangle. And when I adjust the dimensions here, you see everything updates accordingly. Pretty good. So this is the first building block of a sketch I need. Just a square. This one has a rounded corner, but this is something I can better do via modeling. I don't do this via sketching. So I select the sketch and then extrude this up 10 millimeters, and I would like to round these corners. While I can select all three edges and then move the arrow and round or fillet all edges at the same time, I will end up with these fillets being the same size, plus I have this triangular shape, which is not what I want, because right there where I zoom in, these two lines meet at a sharp point. To get this type of a detail, I need to round this corner first. So this is step one. And now I can select this new edge and round it. There. So that's the way how you get that type of a rounded edge profile. Very good. Good. So now we can think about what's the next step to do. The most logical part might be the holes to create. This is now up to you to decide, do we add this to the top face? Do we add this to the bottom sketch? Since we have this extrusion that actually goes up, I will decide in this case to add a sketch onto the top face. So I select the top face with a finger double tap, and then this actually puts the new sketch grid right onto that face, goes into 2D view, and I can start making my sketches. There, number 1 and number 2. This should be 2.5 for a radius. If I select this, I can add the same radius there, or I select both circles and then on the right side select the equal constraint. The equal constraint helps me to make sure that these two circles always are equal. And you see by changing the left circle, the right circle always updated accordingly. But there are different heights. So there are two ways how I can make sure they are at the same horizontal position. I can draw a line, select the line, make it horizontal, and if I move one circle up or the other circle down, you see the other one moves. Or I can also use the grid and simply via the grid make sure they all are snapped to the same grid line. And you see also here I see the magenta cross. If I take a look at the left circle, it runs through the center point, so I know by snapping to the grid these two circles are at the same position. Another important element here to also keep in mind is we can always adjust elements afterwards later. So if you're still in the process of exploring an idea and you don't necessarily have a blueprint to execute in the sketch environment, we can put something down that's close, but then in direct modeling we can further adjust everything. I would like this circle to be following kind of like this circle, so they line up nicely. And there are two ways how I can do this. I can create an offset and then select this and move it to the correct point. And you kind of like can see that now this is actually all centered. So I know actually by having offset that corner, I found the midpoint of that circle. So this should go to there. But later we will do a chamfer on that edge. So it needs to go further away. And because I used nicely also the grid, I know everything needs to move along this line. So you see I drew this line and then I can slide it along it nicely. This helps me a little bit. And here let's bring this down. You see now, how do we do this? There, they're lined up. To make this extra perfect and verify, I can draw a line, make it horizontal, done, there. And this can go. I might not need this anymore. Very good. So let's do the cuts. I can select this and this hole and then extrude into it. You see then by extruding into it, it cuts into the object automatically and I can cut through. Very nice. So go to here and turn off all the sketches. This then helps me to select only these edges and I can chamfer it as much as needed, maybe 1 millimeter. To make things a little bit nicer, you can select these sharp edges and then round them. There we are. And if I want now to move everything, I select these two cylinders, go to move. You see how this only moved the cylinder, so I might have to move, select also the fillet. Sorry, that was a chamfer, and there everything else moves. So just via direct modeling, there's a lot of possibilities to adjust this geometry afterwards to the need we have. Okay, very good. So let's take a look at the vertical extrusion. And that actually is going to be the most logical next step. So I turn my sketches back on I will select this top surface here, double tap. There we are. Very good. And let's draw a line. And I go to this edge of my geometry, and you will see that it snapped in that line, or I projected it in. Do the same there. You see, there I have my rectangle. Very good. Now, simply via moving things around, I can adjust the dimensions as needed. I can also select this and give this specific values. See, this is actually rotated. So there we make this horizontal and vertical. Very good. Now when we change this, it updates exactly the way how I want it to update. Cool. Okay, very nice. This extrusion goes up to a height of 38, which means this is already 10, so 28 millimeters. You can select this and then extrude this up 28. There we are. Very good. Okay. If I select this now, there you see it's 38. Cool. And again, if this is not 100% what you need, we can always later adjust the geometry. One thing that might be interesting to note. So let's take a look here. You see the hole is actually closer to that edge. Just so you know, we can select this and this there. Then we go to move, bring this over to where I rather would like this to be. Very nice. And I did not actually rotate or move the circle too. I could have moved the circle exactly the same amount too. There, you see even it snapped to it, so it followed it. But what I wanted to show you is I can select this edge and then say more and project and select this face and click done. It projects and actually the circle up onto the sketch. So there now I have 2 times that circle. So this is like one easy way when you directly modeled geometry and you modified it to update your sketch by reprojecting them into the original sketch. Okay, good. So let's take a look at what we can do here with that part. So the front face I said is flat, but the sides are carved. So this cannot be flat. I need on top here a profile to actually cut down. So I select the top face with my finger, double tap, and I will go to spline control. So I do not want to work with the fit, I want to work with the first one, the control curve. So I can draw and then tap, and I go here to there and stop. So I need 3 points. The start point, I move here to this edge too. The end point, I move there to that corner. And then here, this midpoint, this one is important. This I want to move onto this edge, because then this and this point are horizontally aligned, which means when this is mirrored over to the right side, it's tangent. And now I can play around with the shape and also the amount of how far this should bend by moving these points there. Very easy. Cool. Okay. This resulting sketch, I can then select and extrude down. You see it shaves it down. Because I work cleanly with millimeters, I just go down 28, because initially first I extrude this up 28. Okay, nice. We also have the cylinder there. So I go now to this side, select this face with the pencil, with finger double tap, and create a circle. Now I need to know where on the right side is actually this one edge that is curved. So I go to here in Appearance and then turn on Show Hidden Edge. And there you can see actually right there, there's that hidden edge. So that means that this circle, I ideally should move to somewhere there. It's up to you then to define also how big that circle is. Very good. So when I select this and then extrude it through it, 15.9, see this is actually not enough, and you even can see there is a gap. So let's come back. What mistake did I make? Because the sketch, the circle overlaps with the rectangle on the right side, I only selected a little bit of the circle. I need to select the whole circle. So here I need to select that segment too, and then I can extrude it. You can also use here the grids, and working with full units really makes it very easy to snap to the correct distance, so 15 millimeters. But instead of cutting it out, I will select this icon and say Union, add please to it. There we are. I would like to have also a hole inside. I can select the circle, double tap with my finger. I could either draw a new circle in it, or via the offset command create an offset. But as you can see here, 2.8, it broke it down there. You have to be careful what element I'm actually selecting. So I'm selecting now the circle. Previously I selected the edge of the extruded geometry. I set this to 2.25. Good. Again, all these values later can, via direct modeling, be adjusted. So push this through. There we are. Cool. Okay, nice. Let's continue working on this part for the moment. We also have the opening on the top. That's actually a Revolve object. We can again go to here, double tap, and then I will draw a line, and then I draw a line straight down to the bottom. Okay. So here, there you see this is a new fill. And then all this can be adjusted based on the dimensions you need and the thickness. This is then all for you to define. I can select the outside point and the center point, and then say this is actually a distance of 7, which would be a radius of 7. This is a material thickness of 2. Very nice, very good. So I select this filled area, and then on the left side, doesn't give me the ability to rotate. Let's go to more. There's the Revolve. That's the tool I need. Okay. Now it wants me to select an axis. The axis will be the far right edge. So I select it. There we are. Very good. Okay. Well, this is a new object. I would like this to be removed from this object. So I could go to Tools and then Subtract and say from this, I would like this be removed. There we are. Very good. Okay. And here again, when I select this arced surface, you see it gives me, oh, I'm sorry for the quick rotation, it gives me the value of the radius. I can adjust all this afterwards, which is why I said don't be too particular about the accuracy of sketches. When you don't have this nailed down yet, we can adjust the model very easily simply via direct modeling. And as I showed you here with the hole, we could just then update our sketches if needed. Good. So let's hide all these sketches so you only see the geometry. This looks actually pretty good. We would need to build also this triangular shape there now. So, which means this side will be the best now. So I select it with the pencil, my finger double tap, and then I draw a line to there. This endpoint I move to there. It snaps and projects onto these edges. And you see here on the right side, there's the endpoint of that arc. And they are connected. Very good. There's my fill. Let's go 5 millimeters for the thickness. And there we are. I will turn off the show hidden edges now. And we now have 1/4 built. The only thing that's kind of left now is thinking also before we do the mirroring and joining, how do we do all the fillet strategies? That's actually quite important. So this edge to here should go nicely down. This will actually be a same situation like down here. So this edge I need to round first. There, 3 millimeters, very good. And this edge needs to be rounded. 2 looks good. Rotate around. Let's do the same here. 2. Nice and big. And let's see. So if I now select this one edge and I round it, see the whole thing is being rounded, including this lower edge there. Now if this to there should flow nicely to there, which means that this edge needs to be rounded first too. And if this edge should go to there, it means this edge needs to be rounded first. So I do this. Now I can select this and round it. Oh, what is this? This actually means, oh, this is an individual object. It was not joined. Okay, not a big deal. We go to Tools, Union, and say you, and you please join. There we are. Okay, now I can select this and rotate it a little bit, the view. So there we are, and then fillet it 1 millimeter. Very good. Select this edge. There we are. You see everything got filleted perfectly. Really nice. We can also chamfer this. If the distance here to there might be too big, too small, is maybe does the chamfer need to be adjusted, or does maybe here the radius need to be adjusted? See, all these things can be modified afterwards. Pretty nice. Okay. So here I would like this to be chamfer 2, 0.5. Maybe I would like this to be 1 millimeter. But you see this gets very tight to this edge, which means, okay, good, then this one I have to maybe make smaller. There you see how everything can be changed afterwards. 0.5. Okay. If you do not like a feature, let's say the fillets, you can select the fillet surface and simply press delete. Same here, delete. So you go back to the original geometry. And then we go back and re-add our edge roundings and corner fillets. Very good. Okay, so 1/4 is done. The only thing left is to mirror it. So when I select the whole object, go to more, there is a mirror. Then it asks us to select a plane. And they also see here there's a plus icon, so that's what we want to have turned on. And now I click on a face on the left side. Then I will turn that face into the mirroring plane. And click done. There we are. Can select those two. There's a union command, then actually turns on. And we join them. Now we have 1/2. Perfect. Let's do this one more time. We select the whole thing and mirror. Then I select the other side and we build our bracket. There, pretty good. So I hope you saw that something as complex as this bracket with all the intricate details can actually be very easy if you break it down to very logical building blocks and then methodologically, step by step, start adding everything together. And again, if now we need to create new sketches, I can always remove my previous sketches and then via the project command create new clean sketches that perfectly reflect the state of this final geometry.